team, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jill Baird and this is your place for all things movement and fitness related. I'm excited to have you here with me today for a feel-good flow yoga class, sort of an alphabet soup type of class where we're going to do some grounding, some strengthening, some stretching, some balancing if that's in the cards for you today. Go ahead and grab your blocks if you have them and make sure that you have enough space around you to lift a leg up and back behind you, arms out to the side. And when you're ready, meet me on your back. So go ahead and come to lie flat on your back. You're going to bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet flat to the mat, or if you'd like a little bit of a deeper hip opener, we're going to come into Supta Konasana or butterfly, bringing the soles of your feet together to touch knees out wide. And if you have those blocks and you want to slip them underneath your outer hips, that feels really good for some added support. Go ahead and bring your left hand to your heart, your right hand to your belly, and take a nice deep breath in through your nose, filling up with gratitude for yourself for showing up on your mat today. You did it, the hardest part is done, we're here. And an open mouth exhale, letting go of any stress, tension, worries from the day. Again, deeper, fuller inhale through the nose. Maybe even imagining that you're drawing in that breath from the crown of your head to the tip of your tailbone. And then with an open mouth, powerful exhale, let it go. Let's do two more of those. Deep, full inhale, breathing in some calm. And a powerful open mouth exhale, letting go of any stress, doubt, or tension. One more deepest, fullest inhale yet. Bringing in that breath until you feel like you can't take in another sip. Holding it at the top. And then let it go. Open mouth exhale. Go ahead and seal your lips closed and continue to take that powerful breath. Inhaling through your nose for those slow, steady count, maybe of 4 or 5. And then with sealed lips, exhaling through your nose, creating a slightly audible sound in the back of your throat with each exhale. And doing your best to match the count of your inhales and your exhales. On your next inhale, go ahead and blink your eyes open, bring your palms to the outside of your knees, draw the knees in towards one another. And as you exhale, use that contraction in your core just to draw your knees into your chest. Maybe turn a couple of circles to the right, just a little massage for the low back. Stopping at center and then changing the direction. And then drawing your knees back to center. Bring your feet down to the mat. And we're going to come into a figure 4, crossing the right ankle at the front of the left knee. If this is enough for you, you can stay here. If you'd like to take it a little bit deeper with your next exhale, peel that left foot away from the mat. And bring your palms either behind your left leg, so at your hamstring, or if you can do so and manage to keep the backs of your shoulders flat on the mat, you can bring your palms to the front of your left shin. And then just bringing your mind into that outer right hip, not only thinking about drawing your inhales into that outer right hip, but using your exhales to maybe press that outer right knee towards the top right corner of your mat and create a little bit more space in that outer right knee. Take another inhale, and as you exhale, go ahead and keep the figure 4 with your right knee. Bring the sole of your left foot down to the mat. Inhale, we're just going to extend our arms out like a T or a cactus, and as we exhale, keeping that same shape in your legs, you're going to let your sole of your right foot come over to the mat on the left, and then your gaze is going to come out to the right. Inhaling some length along the right side body, exhaling, dropping the shoulders down away from the ears. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, use that contraction in your core to come back to center. Unbind the knees, hug them into your chest, and just give a little rock side to side. Take an inhale breath here, and as you exhale, feet find the mat, coming into that figure four on the left. So initially, again, just creating the figure four with the sole of the right foot on the mat. If this is where your body wants to be, stay here. And if you'd like to take it a little bit further with your next exhale and the contraction of that core, peel the right foot away from the mat. And you can bring your palms either to the right hamstring or the right shin, just depending on where you can comfortably keep the back of your head and the back of your shoulders on the mat. And again, inhales, thinking about drawing that breath into the outer left hip, and then using your exhale breath to imagine pressing that outer left knee up towards the top left corner of your mat. On your next exhale, right foot finds the floor. We're going to keep this shape. Inhale, arms out like a T or cactus. And as you exhale, using your core strength to bring the sole of the left foot to the mat and the gaze out towards the left. So coming into a nice twist here. Inhaling to find length along the spine and exhaling as we twist just a little bit deeper. And this isn't a forced twist, it's just a very gentle twist here, awakening the low back, awakening the outer hips. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, use your core, draw your knees into your chest, hug them in, and you can either roll to your right side and come up to a tabletop or cross your ankles and rock 2 or 3 times. And that third time, coming up and over the knees into that tabletop pose. So shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Take an inhale breath, drop your belly, lift your gaze, cow pose. And as you exhale, tuck round and curl, cat pose. Inhale, cow pose, like you're pulling the mat back towards your knees with your palms to create an even deeper opening in the front of your chest. And exhale, cat. Pull your belly button back towards your spine as your tailbone draws down to the earth. Let's take one more round. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat. Pressing your shins into the mat, pressing your palms into the mat, drawing your biceps back in line with your ears. And we'll meet back in a tabletop on our inhale. Take an exhale, pull your belly button back towards your spine. Inhale, right fingertips twist open towards the ceiling. Exhale, thread the needle. We're going to do this for a total of 5 times. So inhale, re-extend the fingertips, twist from the belly button. Exhale, thread, shoulder meets the mat maybe. Inhale, twist it open. Exhale, thread, right arm under left. We have 2 more. Inhale, peel it open. Exhale, thread the needle. And this last time we're going to hang out. So inhale, peel it open. And exhale as you thread that right arm underneath your left. Come to rest on the outside of the right shoulder. Right ear meets the mat. If it feels good to you, you can extend that left leg straight out from your left hip, maybe reaching those right fingertips towards the left toes. And then the left hand can come straight out from the left shoulder. You can walk it over to the right, or for an even deeper twist, you can tuck those left fingertips at the right hip crease. And as you inhale again, think about growing length along your spine. And as you exhale, twisting the ribs. So the left ribs peel open and the right ribs draw over towards the left. On your next inhale, Inhale, press up. Re-extend the right fingertips. And exhale, right palm underneath right shoulder. So we're going to do that again. On the left, organizing hips and shoulders over knees and wrists. Pull the belly button back towards the spine. Inhale. Reach the left fingertips up towards the ceiling, finding that rotation from the belly button. And exhale, thread the right arm, or the left arm rather, under the right. Inhale, use your core strength. Peel open, so really warming up those muscles, the obliques that run along the side body. Exhale, twist. 3 more. Inhale, open up towards the left. And exhale, twist. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, twist. 1 more. Inhale, reach. And then this time with our exhale, left shoulder, left ear, find the mat. If it feels good to extend the right foot straight out of the right hip with the sole of that right foot flat on the mat, you can do that. It's a nice opening in that right inner thigh. And then your right hand can come directly out of the right shoulder over towards the left, or for an even deeper twist, you can bring the right hand to the left hip crease. So think about chest spiraling up towards the ceiling. That's the end goal. It might not be where you're at today, and that's fine. Be comfortable with where you're at. Be comfortable with who you are. Be authentic with yourself as you continue those slow, steady breaths. And on your next inhale, extend the right hand. Exhale, right palm finds the mat. Press back up into that extended tabletop, and then come back to all fours. So take an inhale breath here. As you exhale, tuck your toes, hover your knees, draw your hips back towards your heels, downward facing dog. And if you need to shift forward into a plank with an inhale to organize, exhale back to downward facing dog. Maybe initially taking a couple of deep bends in both knees, bringing your belly back towards your thighs, and then straightening into your legs as you maintain that space in the upper body. Finding some stillness in that downward facing dog. Take an inhale breath, gaze forward, and as you exhale, step your feet behind your hands, forward fold. In this first forward fold, let's take a nice deep bend in the knees, lifting your tailbone up towards that spot where the wall and the ceiling meet behind you. Maybe beginning to straighten into the legs. Inhale into your halfway lift, fingertips on the floor, maybe on the blocks or on your shins, creating space along your spine. Exhale, fold, and inhale, slowly roll up 1 vertebra at a time. Tadasana, mountain pose, stacking head over shoulders, over hips. And on an exhale, draw your thumbs to your heart center and set an intention for yourself. Why did you show up on your mat today? What can you say to yourself throughout this practice? Maybe it's, I'm enough, I'm here. Or maybe you're going to focus on your breath and forget about anything else that might be weighing on your mind. Your next inhale, blink your eyes open, circle sweep, arms up overhead, and exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step left foot, right foot back, high plank, top of a push-up, pressing through your heels, squeezing your inner thighs up towards the ceiling, and drawing your butt in line with your hips. So this isn't an internet butt moment, it's a plank butt moment. Inhale, shift forward, and exhale for a slow count of 5. We're going to lower all the way down to our belly. Chest and belly arrive at the same time. Untuck the toes, loop the shoulders back, and inhale, cobra pose. Pull the mat back with your palms, spread your collarbones wide. And exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, press into your palms, lift your hips up and back. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step your feet behind your hands, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, Tadasana, mountain pose. Press through your feet, hug your core in. And exhale, palms to heart center. We're going to add on a little bit here in mountain pose. Inhale, circle sweep arms up, Tadasana. And exhale, release your hands behind your back, interlace your hands, and draw your palms down to open up your shoulders. So chest lifting towards the ceiling. Exhale, release. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, fold. Uttanasana, mountain pose. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Squeeze your shoulder blades together down your back. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, shift forward. This time, option chaturanga or cobra. Inhale, your back bend, gaze is forward. And exhale, downward facing dog. One more time through that sun A. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step or float, feet behind hands, forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, Tadasana, mountain pose. Maybe your palms meet overhead. And exhale, pull it into center. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, hands behind the back. Maybe interlace the opposite thumb or pinky finger on top this time. Chest opener here. A little bit of a back bend. Tailbone draws down. Release. Inhale, Tadasana. And exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, find plank. And exhale, step or float. High plank, top of a push-up. Your vinyasa. Inhale, your back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here in this downward facing dog. Again, maybe bend both knees. Create that length from your fingertips to your tailbone. And then straighten into the legs, maintaining that length. Inhale, gaze forward, take a nice deep bend in the knees as the heels lift. And exhale, step or float, top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, knees bent, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sitting your hips back as far as you can, like you're sitting back into that imaginary chair. Knees over ankles. Arms extended out, shoulder height, pinky slightly turned in towards one another. And if you can maintain the space between your shoulders and your ears without scrunching up, go ahead and bring your palms to the best of your ability in line with your shoulders, so biceps are in line with ears. Take one more inhale, lengthen your side body. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, step or float, your vinyasa, chaturanga, or cobra, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot between the hands, spin the back foot flat, warrior 1. Shoulders and hips square to the front of the mat. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your back. Exalted warrior. And exhale, fold forward, humble warrior, bringing your right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Drawing that right hip back, left hip forward. Inhale, rise up, warrior 1. And exhale, windmill the palms. Step back, either 3-point plank with that right foot lifted, or high plank with the right toes on the mat. Maybe you take an ekapada chaturanga with those right toes lifted. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale breath, the left foot steps between the hands. Spin the right foot flat. Rise to warrior 1. So heel to heel alignment, that right heel and left heel are in a line. The right toes face towards the top right corner of your mat. And then imagine that you're pulling your right heel in without actually moving it and pulling your left heel back. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Inhale, heart lifts. And exhale, engage your core to guide your left shoulder to the inside of your left knee. Humble warrior. You can let your head hang heavy. Inhale, rise back up. Warrior one. And exhale, windmill the palms. Step the left foot back, either hovering or toes on the mat. Your vinyasa. Exhale, finds chaturanga or lowering to the mat. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. Spreading all 10 fingers wide. Pressing the fingertips, the palms, and the space at the base of the knuckles into the mat. Take the weight up and out of your wrists. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, bend your knees. Step or float, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sit a little bit lower this time. Pull your belly button back in and up. Find a slight pelvic tilt, and then press the fronts of your shins back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your palms. Step back, high plank, top of a push-up. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale. And inhale to your back bend, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your inhale breath, your right foot steps between your hands, spin the back foot flat, and rise to warrior one. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back, draw the knuckles down. Inhale, chest lifts towards the sky. And as you exhale, humble warrior, right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. Inhale, rise back up to warrior one. And as you exhale, straighten the right leg, pull the right hip back, left hip draws forward. And then as we exhale, we're going to come into pyramid pose, lengthening over that front leg. So if your blocks are close by, go ahead and grab your blocks, bring them underneath your palms, lengthen out of your hips, just like we do in that halfway lift. And if you have the space with a slight bend in that right knee, exhale, fold it forward into pyramid pose. Checking in with your shoulders, making sure that they're drawing down and back away from your ears. One more inhale, find length from the tip of your tailbone to the crown of your head. And exhale, blocks off to the side, bend into the knee, and step the right foot back to meet the left. Your vinyasa on the exhale, your back bend on the inhale. Downward facing dog is where we'll meet. Inhale, step the right foot, or left foot rather, to the left thumb, spin the back right foot flat, and inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Inhale, exalted warrior as your chest lifts. And exhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward as you use the control in your core to guide that left shoulder to the inside of the left knee. So imagine bumping that left hip back, right hip drawing forward, pressing into the pinky edge of each foot. Inhale, rise, warrior one, straighten the front left leg, bump the right hip forward, left hip back, And exhale, fold out, pyramid pose. Using the blocks, if you have them, underneath your palms, otherwise fingertips can come to the mat. Loop the shoulders down and back as your chest draws forward. Micro bend in that right knee. And surrender your head towards your shin as you actively, isometrically pull the right ankle or heel forward and the left heel back. And find some steadiness in your breath here. If it's short and choppy, bend into the knee a little bit more or use your blocks for support. Exhale, bend the left knee, frame the foot with the hands, and step the foot back, high plank. Inhale forward, exhale lower, inhale your back bend, and exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to come down to our butts for a couple minutes here for a little bit of core work. We'll all meet in a boat pose. So boat is a nice lengthened long spine from the tip of your tailbone to the crown of your head. Maybe start out by just bringing your palms behind your hamstrings, looping the shoulders down and back into their sockets, and then beginning to extend through the legs. And then just like that chair pose, we can start out with our palms directly in front of our shoulders. Turn your pinkies in towards one another. And then if you can lift your shoulders without scrunching them up towards your ears, go ahead and do that. And if you can straighten your legs, go ahead and straighten your legs. Squeezing those inner thighs in towards one another. Squeezing the core. We're going to hold here for 4. Lift everything a little bit higher. 3, you've got this. 2, and 1. With control, slowly lower onto your back. And we're going to come into a cross-legged eagle crunch. So I'm going to bring my right knee up over my left, and then you can rest your right foot at the side of your right shin or left shin, or you can tuck your toes, wrap completely. Bring your left elbow underneath your right. Extend the arms overhead. Take an inhale and exhale. Draw knees to elbow, elbows to knees. Inhale, lengthen. Maybe the toes tap the mat if the low back can stay flat to the mat. And then exhale, draw everything in together. Do 3 more of those. Inhale, lengthen. Continuing to imagine drawing your elbows away from your body for a nice opening in the back of the shoulders. Exhale, contract. Draw in. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, lengthen. And this time as we exhale and bring knees to elbows, elbows to knees, we're going to hold it up for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and unbind, stretch your fingertips overhead, toes forward. Bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet to the mat, heels in towards your glutes. Imagine hugging your block, or you can bring your block between your thighs for that nice engagement. Palms down by your side, fingertips reaching towards the heels. We're going to come into a bridge pose. Inhale. Exhale, press your feet into the mat. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling. And you can shimmy your shoulders in towards one another, maybe interlacing the palms as you draw the palms towards the heels. Opening up the front side body, strengthening the back side body here. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the clasp of the hands and then slowly roll down 1 vertebra at a time. Hug your knees in towards your chest on an exhale. Eagle crunches, left leg up and over the right. Either finding a complete wrap with the toes or resting the foot to the side of the shin. So left arm comes under the right this time. Take an inhale breath Toes towards the mat, fingertips towards the mat overhead. Exhale. Lift shoulders and hips to bring knees and elbows together. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, tuck, round, and curl. 3 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, tuck, round, and curl. Inhale, lengthen, last 2. Exhale, knees to elbows, elbows to knees. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen, this is our bonus one. And exhale, lift and crunch everything together for 4. You've got this. 3, just 2 more. And 1. Go ahead and unbind, uncross, release the legs, release the arms, find the stretch. And we're going to come into 1 more bridge pose. Soles of the feet to the mat, heels in towards the hips, squeezing the inner thighs in towards one another. Bring your palms down by your side, and with an exhale breath, give a nice press into your feet and lift the fronts of your hips. So imagine your tailbone is lengthening to that space behind your knees. You have a space between your chin and your chest. Your eyes can be closed or your gaze can be up towards the ceiling. And let's see if we can lift the fronts of those hips maybe 1/4 of an inch more up towards the ceiling. And we're gonna hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower. Exhale, draw the knees into the chest, cross the ankles. We're gonna rock and roll 3 times, and this time we'll meet in downward facing dog. So either coming through plank, through a chaturanga vinyasa, or just lifting your hips up and back into downward facing dog. 1 more standing series here before we cool down. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step your feet behind your hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Sit back into that imaginary chair. Rounding through the right leg, we're gonna lift the left up and over the right, coming into eagle. We were just here on our backs, so now either resting the left toes on the mat or hooking the left toes behind the right ankle, and then we're going to bring the right arm underneath the left, cross at the elbows. If you can't cross your forearms and your palms, you're just going to bring your palms to rest on your shoulders. If you do have that cross, we're going to press elbows into each other, wrists into each other, palms into each other, and draw the elbows out in front of you to find a nice opening in the upper back. Keep the low ribs knitting in towards one another and pulling down. So we're going to take a big move here. It's a balancing move. Lots of options. We're going to unbind the arms, and we're going to extend them up into chair pose. Continuing to hug that outer right hip in, we're going to bring the left foot back into warrior 3. So spiraling the inner left thigh up towards the ceiling, hugging both outer hips in. So in my mind, I'm in a capital T here, but I know when I go back and watch this, I'm going to be like, I could have dropped that outer left hip a little bit or lifted the inner left thigh a little bit, but it's all about finding confidence, finding the balance. 1 more inhale, lift the inner left thigh a little bit more, and then exhale, we're going to come down into a low lunge. Plant the left palm underneath the left shoulder, and inhale, peel open, simple twist. Right fingertips reach for the sky. Chest peeling open towards the sky. Slow your breath. And then 1 big inhale is gonna bring us up to warrior two. So 90-degree bend in the front knee, pressing out through the pinky edge of each foot, and finding a soft gaze out over the right fingertips. Inhale, flip the right palm, reverse warrior. Reach those right fingertips back as the left fingertips walk down the left leg. And exhale, extended side angle. Maybe you bring those left fingertips towards the front of the mat. Always working on that spiral, so the right ribs drawing under, the left ribs drawing back, chest working in the direction of the ceiling. Inhale back to warrior two. Option to stay here and hold, or come into another balanced pose, half moon. So for half moon, you're going to bring your hand to the mat or to a block about 6 inches out in front of the right pinky toe. We're going to give a bend into that right knee, and we're going to stack the left hip on top of the right. So like our back and the back of our hips is against a wall or a pane of glass. So lifting that outer left hip. And if you can move the hand away from the block and maybe bring it to your heart space, I don't know if I can do it, you can work on that balance. Have a little bit of fun. Think about this as your recess. One more inhale. Exhale, gracefully step back to warrior two. Take an inhale and exhale, windmill your palms. Step back to high plank and flow through your vinyasa or meet us in downward facing dog. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, one more side. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, step or float, feet behind hands, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold, and inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Take a nice deep inhale. Don't think about where we're going, just stay focused with your breath. Grounding into the left foot this time, hugging the outer left hip in as you lift the right knee up and over the left, kicks down the toes, or find the full wrap. And this time, left arm comes underneath the right, crossing at the elbows. So pulling those elbows out in front of you to open up the backs of the shoulders. Maybe sitting back into that left heel just a tiny bit more. Squaring shoulders and hips to the front of the mat. Squeezing the inner thighs. I don't know about you, but I'm shaking here. This is hard work. On an inhale, we're going to unbind the arms, coming into chair arms. And with our exhale, we're going to unbind the leg, find a bend in that left leg, and come into warrior three. So the ultimate goal of warrior three is like a capital T with the right foot and the hands extended out. So we want to find a little lift, like an upward facing dog, cobra in our chest. And I'm finding my balance by squeezing my inner right thigh and lifting that inseam of the right leg towards the ceiling. Draw your shoulders back. Inhale. And exhale, carefully step the right toes back, coming into a low lunge, planting the right palm underneath the right shoulder, and exhaling into a gentle twist. So the left hip draws back, the right hip draws forward, the back of the right leg lifts towards the ceiling. One more inhale, reach a little bit higher. Big exhale, warrior two. Tailbone draws down, left hip opens, right hip spirals in. Extend the arms, find a little squeeze at the back of the shoulder blades, like you're hugging a finger or an imaginary pencil between them. Gaze out gently over the left fingertips. Flip the palm, inhale, reverse or peaceful warrior. A side body bend, not a back bend. So my chest is facing the right, not the front of the room. Exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow to the inside of the left knee. Peel it open. Right fingertips reach up towards the ceiling or towards the front of the room. Right ribs peel back, left ribs peeling under. Inhale, warrior two for a hold, or exhale, gazing out to that spot about 6 to 12 inches from the left pinky toe, half moon. So pressing off of the back, right foot, keeping a micro bend in that left knee until you feel like your right hip is stacked over your left. Hug the shoulder blades together. So again, ultimately the chest is working up towards the ceiling. Yeah, if you feel like you're going to come down, give yourself that grace. Come down and then get right back up into it, right? In life, it's not the falls that define us, it's how we get back up. I don't know if I have the balance today to bring my left hand to heart center. I'm really trying to squeeze those outer hips in, maybe just for a second. And when you've had enough, exhale gracefully, warrior two. Stay for the inhale. Windmill the palms down to the mat for your last vinyasa, if you choose, or maybe meet us in downward facing dog. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, extend the right leg, straight back out of the right hip. Exhale, half pigeon, right knee behind right wrist. Right toes over towards the left. And then the goal in half pigeon is to have your hips squared to the front of the mat. So notice my right knee has a pretty deep bend in it. If I forced my right shin to be parallel to the mat, I would open towards the left, and that's not what I want. If it feels good to you to have a block underneath your right hip, you can have a block underneath your right hip. We're gonna lift our chest. And then maybe you have a block in front of you that you come down to your forearms. So again, my shoulders are facing forward, my hip creases are facing forward, or you can come down onto your forearms and just slow your breath. Lengthening from your tailbone to the crown of your head with each inhale. And as you exhale, guiding that right hip back, left hip forward isometrically. And if this is not the place you want to be for whatever reason, you have the option to come onto your back and come into that pigeon figure four that we started class with. It is the same stretch, it stretches the same muscles. And on your next inhale, walk your palms back. Tuck your left toes. Inhale, three-legged dog. Right leg lifts. Option to bend the right knee coming into that scorpion dog. Or maybe you bring the left forearm down to the mat, bend the right elbow coming into that dolphin dog. Just finding all kinds of length along the right side body as you gaze out underneath the right arm. And go ahead and come back up into a downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, more on your right again. Half pigeon left side. Left knee behind the left wrist. Left toes behind the right. Maybe taking a gaze back over your left shoulder, which guides that left hip back, right hip forward, looping the shoulders down and back into their sockets. Thinking about little headlamps on the front of your hips, shining towards the front of the room, front of the mat. And then coming into your depth of pigeon. Maybe that's on your back in a figure 4 pigeon. Maybe that's palms on blocks. So if the palms on the blocks helps you keep your shoulders back and your chest drawing forward, perfect. If you can bring your elbows down to the mat, your chest lengthens forward, your shoulders lengthen back, then that's where you need to be. And if you can keep that open and square hips and shoulders by extending your fingertips forward, then that's where you need to be. And the most important thing here in your pigeon is that your breath stays slow and steady. If it's short and choppy, then that tenses our muscles and it works against what we're trying to accomplish here, which is some stretch and some relaxation. So you need to assess and be honest with yourself, right? Be authentic. Am I where I'm supposed to be? And maybe it's not where you were yesterday. Maybe it's not where you were 2 weeks ago. It's certainly not where you're going to be tomorrow. But the best thing we can do for ourselves is to be honest, acknowledge where we're at, and work with where we're at today. On your next inhale, slowly begin to walk your palms back. Tuck your right toes. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, scorpion dog, bending the left knee, stacking it on top of the right hip. And then maybe coming down into dolphin dog, bringing the right forearm to the mat, bending the left elbow and gazing out underneath the left shoulder. Continuing to open up that left hip. And then inhale back and exhale to our final downward facing dog. Taking any movements here that feel good in your body. And then coming down to your knees, crossing your ankles in front of you. And you can extend your legs out long, palms up, and slowly roll down onto your back, hugging both knees into your chest, taking any last postures that feel good for you here. Maybe a dead bug, happy baby, maybe a gentle twist. And then when you're ready, coming into your Shavasana. And enjoying these moments here in peace and stillness and silence. Please stay for as long as you can. If you're ready to join me, begin to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Extend your arms long over your head as your toes reach forward, rock your head side to side. And begin to make your way into a supported fetal position on your right side, head resting on that bottom bicep, top palm resting on the earth. And just taking in a deep breath of inventory here as you notice how different you feel than when you first stepped on your mat. Go ahead and press yourself up into a cross-legged seat, lengthening your spine, bringing your palms together at heart center, and gently just bowing your head towards your fingertips. Once again, thanking yourself for showing up on your mat today and for taking this time for yourself. I'm looking forward to the next time we meet together on the mat. Until then, stay safe.